tall sometimes and 10 feet tall other times. We don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, it's said often that we are our own worst enemy. Well, what does that say? I mean, there's a huge schism going on. Why do we have to contend with this paradox? Why is life so hard? Why is it so tough being human? But again, it's across the board. It teaches us empathy. In our weaknesses, strength is perfected. It teaches us humility and compassion and mercy and understanding, and to give people slack because we know we need slack. So it's a tough lesson, but we all have to learn it. And God is helping. He's trying to refine us like silver, and He's trying to burn up all the dross, all the crap. When we got our priorities mixed up, when we've got our values out of whack, He's trying to get them in whack. But we're in this thing together. Okay, what hurts a fellow human being unnecessarily, and you know it's true, that people are subjugated right and left around this planet, and money is the means that's done. And you know it's wrong. It cuts, it convicts our conscience. It makes us uneasy. It makes it so we can't enjoy our lives. And even if it's happening on a subliminal level, you can't escape it. The conscience is a failsafe God built into us so that it always pulls us back to Him and to each other. And to realize we are one family. We got to learn to live as one family. We must give a damn. We must care. We must love one another as our very selves. Okay, the love that you feel when you talk things over with God as your friend, and you know you're only a servant because you've chosen to be. He hasn't said, hey, you better do this for me. It's not that kind of a relationship. It's a loving one. He wants the best for us, trying to direct us. And it all makes sense, and it's logical. A child can understand it. It's not hidden. It's not a cult. It's done out in the open. He wants us to know His will. If we don't know His will, how can we ever do His will? Okay? So it's really all cut and dry and simple. It all makes perfect sense. What is God's will for you? What is God's will for me? It's the same. He wants us to attain happiness. He wants us to understand we can't go it alone, that we must care about other people, or else we're just spinning our wheels. We're running in place. We're going nowhere. We're all just hamsters on a wheel. And it's not just hamsters on a wheel that's free-wheeling, free spinning. No, okay, nobody's greasing the bearings. And those that jump off the hamster wheel the soonest, when they see the light and they say, hey, the smart ones get off the soonest. It's not those that, work hard and, you're going to succeed and all this crap. By whose definition? What is success? I mean, if God tells you success is winning friends for Him, because this is what He values more than anything else, and our values need to be in sync, in line with one another's. We got to see eye to eye here, have a meeting of the minds with your owner, the Creator God Almighty, your divine parents, and it all makes perfect sense. It's all very logical, and our values are clear. They're other human beings. That's success, is winning friends for Him and turning people away from pseudo treasures, these temporal, ephemeral treasures that people, the gold and silver, the money. Of course, money is the epitome, the exemplification of all the other treasures, because what can you buy with money? You can buy all those other things that are highly valued among men, Bitcoin and you name it, right? Real estate, whatever it is that is highly valued among men, you can get it with money. Jet airplanes, luxury automobiles, right? Mansions, right? So we all get it. That money, that is the one thing. That is the, my pretty, you know what I mean? It's just the ultimate, and it's detestable in God's sight. I mean, and it should be detestable in our sight too when we get it. But I mean, we all love money. Who doesn't? I mean, it's like saying you don't love to pay your bills or take your girl out on a date. I mean, duh, of course you do. So we can't lie to God. So here we love this disgusting substance that must go in order for us to have peace on earth. Okay, it's got to be a universal thing. The good guy has to win here and prevail. And that's what's predicted in Scripture, is that at the end of the age and the beginning of the new age and this renewal of all things, this is what takes place. It's not the end of the world, Okay, as some will tell you, no, that's not what's written. It's simply the end of an age. So when everybody is enlightened and there's that critical mass of enlightenment and empowerment, the accompanying empowerment, then we're going to throw down the dictators. And we're going to say, no, it's going to be our way. It's going to be God's way. And if you don't want to be there, don't be there. But we want to live in a world where not only does no man have an advantage over another through the money, okay, it's invented, concocted, conjured up substance, entity, whatever you want to call it. And furthermore, nobody there wants to have an advantage over another. So you see, the evildoers, for them, that would be hell. That paradigm, that scenario. Okay, they don't want to be there. If they can't have an advantage over others, they don't want to live. You understand? So, what are we going to keep God and decent humanity and between a rock and a hard spot forever? He can't do that. He's got to mete out justice for the righteous. Okay, or else he would be just a paper tiger, and everybody would be right to say that God's just a feckless, pustule, useless God. And who needs him? He's incompetent, he's unloving, and he's just letting the bullies, the bad guys, the evildoers, run roughshod over the righteous and the decent, upright human beings out there forever, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. You know, and all the evildoers can tell you, no, the right trick is you want to succeed, then work harder. Just get on that hamster wheel, push harder, even though it's getting harder and harder. They keep raising your burden, raising your cost of living. It's harder and harder to crack that nut. It's harder and harder to reach that bar, okay, to enter middle class, to enter the American dream of home ownership. Okay, and around the world this is true. Like a cancer, like a disease, it's spread. Okay, everything's getting bought up, right? So it's not there anymore. So we've been broken down and we've been balkanized into either you're an oppressor or you're the oppressed. You're either a landlord or you're a tenant. You're either a serf or you're a king or queen. Okay, and that's it. That's the way it's going to be, and it's going to get harder and harder. And here's what you could do. You could put a bullet in your brain. They don't say this. Or you can go climb under a bridge and die. You know, but look, you're just a weak link in the chain of humanity, and it's social Darwinism is the rule of the day. Okay, we don't need you anymore. Okay, it's simple as that. We're going to bring young, healthy, vibrant migrants in, and they're going to displace all you older, weak links, and the system's going to be fine. We can prop up our failed economy because these are consumers and they need everything from taking out loans to buying toilet paper. So that's going to spur the economy. And you older ones that can't cut the mustard, you can't turn that harder and harder to turn hamster wheel because nobody's lubing the bearings for you. They lube them for themselves. I mean, these corrupt politicians at the top that cause these problems in collusion with the money printing class, the top bankster class. They cause these problems, and they insulate themselves. They cushion themselves by just giving themselves pay raises. They just take more. They don't care that they're debasing your money. They take more to make up for it, and then some extra, just to make sure, you understand, in the chaos that they create, they do this like a Ponzi scheme, like three-card Monte, right? They make everything so convoluted, and they want you discombobulated so you're disempowered. They want you confused and ignorant. They make it hurt your head. Oh, don't think about that. Just ignorance is bliss. Just if you're doing all right and you've prescribed to what we've trained you to do and just get a good education, a good job, make gobs of dough. Well, even that, people are seeing through that now. It's not even working. People are making gobs of dough here in California, and they still can't afford to be a homeowner. You got couples living together with successful careers, and they got to rent and pay through the nose. And you see, and that's not helping anybody. They say, I'm strong, I'm young, I'm strong, I could crack this nut, I'm making lots of dough, I could turn this hamster wheel. How does that help anybody else that's panting and wheezing, okay? Those weaker links in the chain of humanity. It doesn't. So nobody gets to skate here. We're all in this thing together. We're all stuck on this ship of fools careening to destruction, and we need to give a damn. We need to care. We say, it's not my problem. Well, if you want to divorce yourself from other people, you can't do it. They're your brothers and sisters. God gave you a conscience, And your conscience will not let you do that and find any semblance of peace and joy and contentment, happiness. You'll find a pseudo sense of happiness, but remember, at the end of the day, when you stand before your maker, because none of us made ourselves, so it's only reasonable to assume if you believe there's life after life, eternal life, and all that. I mean, otherwise, what's the alternative? You believe in death. You believe you're not going to exist anymore. So we have to all be glad that we're going to give account someday, okay? And help other people to understand that's a good thing, okay? Help you to stay on track and have right values and not find a pseudo sense of happiness, a satanic Luciferian, although you don't know it, inadvertently, that's what's happened. You've fallen into Satan's snare, and you're going to squeak your way into hell if you're a hypocrite and you live outside the golden rule of treating others the way you want to be treated, and you need to give a damn. Like Jesus said, he says, whatever we do or fail to do for others, we do or fail to do for him. Okay, so it's all cut and dried. It all makes perfect sense. A child can understand that kind of logic and thinking and reason. So you must care about others, okay? That's it. End of story. If you're one of the strong out there, young and strong and vibrant, making gobs of dough, and you're able to push that ever harder to push hamster wheel, just remember, it's, look, what is one man's nominal fee to pay, like a rent increase of $100 or something, to another man, that's exorbitant burden. That's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. So just understand that this stuff is real. What I'm talking about has very real world results and effects. And we've got to care about others. If you don't care about others, someday maybe you'll be standing before God that doesn't care about you. I don't know you. You didn't cultivate any relationship with me. You understand? You weren't invested in me. You were rich toward the world, but poor toward those godly values, to really exploring and entertaining these thoughts, these lofty or philosophical thoughts that, you should have on your own. If you were really seeking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, God would pour it into your lap. And you say, wow, I see the light. I've got to care. I've really got to give a damn. I've got to care about how I think about other people. Okay, the downtrodden, the weak. Okay, I've got to care about how I speak of those people, and I've got to care about what I do about these things, and what I fail to do about these things, these people. Okay, and caring. What am I saying? What are my belief systems? What are my credos? What are my philosophies? Okay, be somebody. Be somebody you like. Be a fragrant aroma in God's nostrils, to use a metaphor. Okay, we want to please him because he's the giver, the grantor of true happiness. And at the end of the day, ultimately, isn't that what we're all after, is finding a real, tangible, solid sense of happiness? For me personally, I know I can never find contentment without a beloved, or at least seeking a beloved. I know that, there's no doubt. I get so freaking miserable. I am definitely my own worst enemy. I don't know what the hell's going on with me sometimes, but I feel like I want to sabotage any semblance of happiness that God would give me as a single man. I mean, some people will say, oh, you got to be happy before you find the right one. You got to be happy with your own life and all. I think there's just no way. I'm the least self-satisfied guy you'll ever meet. Although people might claim I am just because I spent so much of my life alone. It's just not true. I need a beloved. There's just no way I'm going to be in my right mind, organically speaking. I know, and God understands, and it's okay with God because God is male and female. Okay, this is the way it is. I mean, when God invented the woman and he gave her more power than he has, okay, he knew what he was doing. He's a smart God. There's one thing God is not, and that's stupid. He knew, and I know. I don't need a shrink. I don't need a pastor. I don't need a counselor, therapist. What I really need is a beloved. Okay, that's it, man. I want to fall into her. I want to become one with her. I know what I need, but I'm picky, and I'm not doing any woman a service by just haphazardly, hey, you want to go out and let's have some fun. I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, but I'm just like every other guy out there. Yeah, I got a carnal mind too. I mean, of course, duh. It's very natural. God made me to love these procreation drugs that are in my body and brain. I love to use them, and But I'm not after that. What I really want, I've wanted this since I was a child, is a beloved. I want a wife. I want a woman I feel like I can go through eternity with. And I don't want to settle because that's not helping her. I want someone I could give my whole self to. And that's hasn't been easy. It's been elusive. I thought I had it. I lost it. And psychologically, it was a big deal to let go. But hey, God helps us with every problem we have. But, that's just one example of, how what it's going to take to make me happy and every guy out there. I think every guy we're alike in that regard is that we